Dr. Glenn Diesen is a professor of international relations at the University of Southeastern Norway and an editor at the Russia in Global Affairs Journal. He is now joining us live from Oslo, Norway. Dr. Diesen, thank you very much for making time for us and welcome. What do you make of our reports that we just aired? Do you think there is a likelihood of the Israeli Prime Minister using Sinwar's body to try and force Hamas to release the hostages? He started by dropping leaflets yesterday.
This end, but I would say it's quite unlikely to be successful, and also I think it could tarnish Israel's reputation in the world, possibly even more, because of course it can be presented as a moral, from a moral position, that it's a reasonable way to get hostages back. On the other hand, it's a form of utilitarian ethics that is doing effectively something appalling as long as it serves an end. So again, the end justifies the means. Now, this all implies that one is not going to hand over the dead in a war. So again, of course this can be rationalized, but in a war, you can also rationalize torture or even genocide if you argue that it's for a greater good. So I think this will cause much concern, at least around the world, but also make a lot of people angry, at least in that part of the world, as it can be seen to normalize the use of human remains for negotiations and essentially undermine the social norms for how you treat the dead. So this could, instead of resulting in a turning point in the war, as again, it is possible, I don't have a crystal ball, but it could also backfire, go the other way by inciting very ferocious retaliation. So it can also set a very dangerous precedent if we're now using the dead dead combatants of either side for blackmail or as a bargaining chip.
Dr. Diesen, Sinwar seems to have been the last straw for Hamas. Both their leaders have been eliminated by Israel, and it looks like the ceasefire talks have now been placed in the back burner. What's your prediction of what's going to happen henceforth, given that both Israel and Hamas have vowed to fight on?
Well, I think it's important to point out, I really doubt that the return of the hostages is the main purpose of this war. I think it can often be an attractive narrative because, of course, one should have compassion for hostages which have been taken, but it's also a narrative which helps to present one side as the aggressor and the other side as a victim. But I think this is, of course, a war which is about has a much greater picture. I don't think anyone rejects this. This is the future of the region. So I think for the Israelis, if they want to have a greater Israel, it's a big problem that half the population there are not Jewish people. That means they either have to have an apartheid system, or they have to have ethnic cleansing, or some way to rid the region of non-Jews. So I think this is a war which both sides see they have to fight till the end. So I don't think Hamas will be able to put down their weapons and accept any subordination. I think they will only use this to further fuel supports for their own ranks and continue this conflict. So I only see escalation, to be honest, within Palestine, but also now with Lebanon, and of course the possibility of Iran being pulled in quite reluctantly into this war would also be devastating for the entire region. So it's really a dangerous path we're going down.
All right. We'll have to leave it there. I've been talking to Dr. Glenn Diesen. He's a professor of international relations at the University of Southeastern Norway and also an editor of the Russia in Global Affairs Journal. Dr. Diesen, thank you for your time and for talking to us today.
My pleasure.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.